Hey, it's Sith Council. It's 7 o'clock at night for some people. Some people it's 10 o'clock at night. Either way, it doesn't matter. Maybe you listen to an audio and everything I just said was BS. Maybe it's a different time for you. It's 12 p.m. and you're in your car and you got a ham sandwich. You're driving around with a ham sandwich listening to us. Steph has no idea why I'm bringing ham sandwiches, but it doesn't matter. Me and Steph and a broken microphone. That's all you got today. And Boba Fett, episode 4, chapter 4. Sorry, I don't mean to get you upset. All right, listen. Subscribe to this channel. Do it. Show some class, will you? That's what we need you to do. We just need you to show an ounce of class by subscribing to the channel and hit the notification button. It's not hard to do. Maybe it is hard for you to do. I don't know what's going on with you. Maybe it's the thing that you have. Maybe you have a fear of hitting buttons. Well, I'm here to squash those fears because it's all BS. All right, subscribe to this, the big thing. What does that have to do with Sith Council? Nothing. But I don't have the graphic for the other one, so you figure it out. That's it. That's all we got today. It's coming in hot. It's Boba Fett. It's chapter 3. Get your peanut butter and jelly ready. Here we go.
I can feel your anger. It gives you focus. Makes you stronger.
What's up, you rats? It's nice to have you all back on the show. Sith Council. It's me. I got who do I got on the show today? Well, Steph Sabraw. I already told you that. She's going to be on the show, but here's the stupid graphic with the three of us. This whole show is a bunch of lies. How's it going, Steph?
You should really think about a career in motivational speaking.
Isn't
that
it
was
something?
that.
How do you think I get my kids to go to school in the morning?
Show some class.
I'm going to start doing that's my thing that I'm going to start doing from now on for people. Every intro, I'm going to tell people to show a little bit of class. I'm saying all we're looking for.
Would you?
Just an ounce, just an ounce of class. That's all we need for you to do. And look, none of this.
That reverse psychology is incredible because I was like, "Am I subscribed?"
Right.
Because I'd like to show some class.
You want to show just a little bit,
just maybe, a little bit,
and then we start selling T-shirts. See, show a little bit of class. That's all you need to do here. Show an ounce. All right, we're going to try to show a little bit of class here today as we talk about chapter 3. I don't say episode anymore because someone who apparently, whether or not this person's telling the truth or not, I have no idea. But they said they worked on the show, and they would rather and to show respect and show a little bit of class, if you will, to the people involved, to call it chapter and not episode because they bill it as such. And I said, okay, you asked. That's fine. And you weren't, he wasn't a douche about it. It was very nice. So your camera looks clear today. Look at that.
Oh, nice.
It's the lighting.
I got some new lighting. Yeah,
that's what it is. I think
we're making upgrades.
And like what you're doing here.
Thank you.
Okay, we got this episode. We got chapter 3. Vast improvement from last week. Do you agree or disagree?
Oh my God. Well, aren't we on chapter 4?
That's what I meant.
Okay. Yeah. Yes. This is exactly what I've been waiting for in this show. And we talked about so many of these things. We're like, we need more motivation from Boba. I need more Fennec, and I need that table scene from the trailer.
We got
we got it.
And we got Mandalorian music. We got everything.
Yeah.
So there's a few things, and I mentioned this morning. So for those people who are just brand new and joining for the first time on Sith Council, and I will make this announcement, which I'm pretty excited about. Sith Council, we moved it to Wednesday nights because Boba Fett was coming out, and we were like, okay, well, initially we're going to put it in the morning, but then I started doing these spoiler-heavy reviews. So Marvel shows are going to become Moon Knight's coming out, and we'll be doing Moon Knight reviews on Wednesday. So instead of moving Sith Council again, we're just going to leave Sith Council at 7 p.m. Seems people seem to be digging it at this time. Gives people time to listen to it on Apple or Spotify the next day. So we're just going to leave, even when Moon Knight's out and all these other shows are out, Sith Council will continue to be on at 7 p.m. PST for everybody. So that's a little thing. But as I mentioned on this show this morning, though, Steph, as I was going through the spoilers, I liked. See, last week's episode, chapter 3, I think I was like 60-40 on stuff I liked, maybe even close to 50-50, right? And stuff I liked that to what I didn't. This one I'm about like 85-15 of what I liked to what I didn't.
Yeah.
The stuff that I didn't like to get into was the same problem that every episode has had so far, and it's this modern, out of place look. The Doctor in this episode, again, keep the actors, keep the dialogue, keep it all. Get rid of the dialogue. I mean, excuse me, get rid of the look. The aesthetic of it just seems off. It seems Fifth Element. It seems like it's in a different place. Like when he shows up and you get the weird guy who just probably is a friend of the director. They stuck a staple on his head and he's looking at the side, and then you show another weirdo, and it's basically just to say, hey, look, remember the modifications? They already existed. It's like, yeah, it doesn't change the fact they look like they belong on a different planet.
That it looks weird. I know it really does take me out of it because it's bright. Like everything was so bright, and everything on Tatooine is so like sand
Dank.
color. Yeah. It does take me out, but it was a short scene that was so small.
It was short. The only reason I was like, oh no, here we go again, is because we had just gotten out of this whole thing like last week. Easily the most divisive episode thus far in anything Star Wars since maybe The Last Jedi was this episode, was that episode 3. People were really split on it. People were going to bail on the show, all this stuff, and I was like, nah, I don't know about that, because we definitely need answers and we need to step it up, and I think this episode did exactly that. After watching this episode, there's a lot though that you have to understand, even though they call it out inside the episode itself, and you've got to understand that Boba Fett is not this badass kind of take no prisoners guy, although he does it once or twice in this episode. But Fennec even says living with the Tusken Raiders has made you soft. How many people have said that in the comment section?
Yeah, no, I know, but I actually, what I liked about this episode though is because in the other episodes, I think that they spent a little longer than they needed to on the storyline. But once we got to this episode, it makes sense the direction they're going in, especially with Boba Fett. I do like a little grittier of a Boba, but I think that what he learned from the Tusken Raiders is actually sick. Like I thought the way that he described like importance of community and like having a tribe, like you're stronger together. I think that can really be, you can still be like down and dirty, like ready to just kill people, but with a tribe.
Yeah, he does, and you see that. It's just there are a few things that they do sometimes in the character choices that I don't think are necessary, right? Like for example, I think that the idea of him wanting a tribe and his motivation, I still don't understand why he wants to go after Bib. They say like he backstabbed him or double crossed. When they don't really explain that. They don't explain like how. I don't know. Maybe I missed it, but they don't really. What? Because he kept his ship. It's like he thought you were dead. So of course he's gonna keep your ship. Yeah. So I didn't understand that as far as why. I do get the motivation, the fact that he's sick of working for these people. He wants to take it over, and that's why he wants to do it. Okay. But like when he's walking in, it just seems like is a common trend. What continues to happen, and I've accepted it at this moment. You have to accept this. Boba goes and does something, either messes it up, doesn't get it all the way done, and then Fennec saves him. Because that's what has happened in every single scene. Whether it's like he's from the silly thing to he's chasing that silly little droid around, which finally shows up after being in animation for so long, shows up, and then Fennec stands in front of it. Then he's able to catch it instead of chasing him around like a buffoon the whole time.
Oh, the lep droid! I love that thing.
He's slamming the ship into the wall, but then Fennec is able to get him out. He stupidly goes very close to the Sarlacc pit after seeing what has happened with the Sarlacc in the past, and Fennec gets him out. Like Fennec, he owes everything. Like Fennec should not get a percentage. She should get the majority of everything.
It should be like a split partnership. Do you think though that, and this doesn't mean I agree with it, but that's to display like how he said, I'm more persuasive with my suit, to show like the difference between when Boba has a suit and when Boba doesn't?
I mean, I understand the idea, but basically when she says, how can we just don't ask? It's not as, because he doesn't have Beskar on, and it's easier to fight, but it doesn't change his demeanor's a little goofy.
His decision making.
Sometimes he's goofy, some of the things that he does. And I said that he has a WWE catchphrase at this point where he grabs somebody, even the droid doesn't give a crap. He says to him, he goes, do you know who I am? I am Boba Fett. He says that to everybody, and everyone's like, who cares? But
I do.
Now I say that with, this is the best episode thus far, hands down, because the stuff that he saves Fennec, we go back, and to what I thought was really great was, I thought, and someone said to me it wasn't the case, but I thought that light that he saw, and then we hear the Mandalorian's theme.
Yeah.
I thought that was Din's ship taken off, and that's where he, or maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was a flare or something. I don't know. Either way, he finds Fennec. He saves her, brings her to the doctor. Doctor fixes her all up, and then it really starts to kick in. The episode starts to kick in because, like you said in the beginning, it gets the conversation of why does he want to do it? Why is she going to get involved? The fact that she got a life debt, not a life debt, just a debt after being saved here, and then the whole planning out of getting that ship back and the little orbs that they use, the droids that they like, it was just a lot of fun. It was like kind of classic Star Wars for me.
Yeah, definitely. I just think Fennec Shan's character, it just gets cooler and cooler because you even asked the question, you're like, what is the debt that she, like, how did it go down for her to be so loyal to him?
Right.
But then the more that you get to know her, like the way she stays so neutral and her like lack of really showing where she stands. Like she sometimes will smirk, sometimes will be like showing aggression, but like really is just the chillest character other than Boba. And so I still don't know. I'm like, are you really? She expressed her want for autonomy and like not to be controlled by people. So maybe this is her out. But at the same time, is she still being kind of controlled by someone if it's Boba? Like, do you think she's gonna stay with the gang?
I still like the idea. I'm not as convinced as I was. I don't know if I was ever convinced, but I still like the idea that she turns on him at the very end and takes over. I don't think Disney would ever do it. I will tell you this: as much as I am enjoying the show now, I'm not, and I do enjoy the show. I think there's a lot of flaws that it has, but it's a Star Wars show. We get to watch Star Wars until Obi-Wan comes out, or you still get to watch a show. I will say that I feel similar though with Bad Batch, where I didn't really necessarily care if we're getting season 2. I feel the same. I think we can wrap up everything that we need to do in one season of Boba Fett. I don't think we need a second season. I know people will disagree with me, but this episode to me starting to get to a good place. We get the ship back. Slave One, they get it. They're able to get the ship. They hunt it down. They have this great scene with the 2 droids, and I love like Fennec showing that of how badass she is, where she first uses. And I said this earlier. We can all agree, from when Boba was in charge and not in charge, the security at the palace sucks. It is like you can just use acid and break the bars and get in. It's like anybody can get in, but the 2 chefs, and they brought back the droid that you're a feisty little one, and they bring those droids back. They're chasing the little droid around. It's a really fun scene. They steal the ship, then they get the hell out of there. But and then it's like, okay, if I paid my debt to you, but I want to stick around. And he's like, all right, yeah, you can. I was going to let you go, but if you want to stick around, you can. He's like, but I got to do a couple things. And this is when the show got great for me. This episode got great for me. Here's the biker gang, and Fennec already said what we all already kind of assumed.
Yes.
She goes, the bikers didn't kill them. The bikers killed the Tusken doesn't seem likely. And Boba's like, yeah, but I still kind of need revenge. And he comes in, and I'm thinking, okay, they're gonna knock them off, and because this is the Boba that we've seen so far. He's gonna go, don't hurt anybody, and he's gonna basically talk to all of them. No, he just mows them all down. Doesn't have one conversation with them. Doesn't ask about setup or anything. Just murders them all.
This was the sickest scene. I was like, yes, great. Boba, this is what we've been waiting for.
Yeah,
just less talk, more action.
Right.
I will say that I was really looking forward to that because they didn't really need to talk. We've, at least from the motivations we've seen of the biker gang, they're not a good group of people, and they had something to do with it.
Yeah, even if they were set up, and even if they were hired by the Pikes, it's just like, yeah, they did enough that they messed with Luke's friends. Yeah, okay. Does anybody really care that he just murdered them? Not really.
Yeah, they had to show that's still in Boba.
Yeah, and he just fired him down, and then he does great scene, but stupid. He goes, "I got to go, and I got to get my armor." Now, I'm giving him a pass on the idea that he didn't remember that the armor wasn't in there because his brain was mush from being a pit for so long. Probably just forgot that he was out in the first place. How he got out, doesn't remember it. So I don't mind that he thinks that the stuff's still in there. What's stupid is that he doesn't remember that the armor wasn't in there. He just forgot that he was out in the first place. How he got out, doesn't remember it. So I don't mind that he thinks that the stuff's still in there. What's stupid is why in the world, if you saw what this thing could do, why would you fly that close? Why would you think that it was dead? Because the second they're going so close, I'm like, the little Shop of Horrors thing is going to come out, and it does. And then that
The
scene when
Venus flytrap.
yes, but when Fennec drops the sonic charger into its mouth and kills the Sarlacc, finally, you're like, all right, Boba finally got some kind of revenge on this thing. And I thought that was a fantastic scene.
Yeah, that was really well done. It was like a shock.
Yeah,
Like the way it was
well, that was that one. It was that scene from Attack. It's that classic charger from Attack of the Clones. Like
yeah.
When Obi-Wan is chasing after Jango and Boba, and that's one of my favorite sound scenes of all time. It's like it's and just wipes people out. Speaking of Boba, by the way, young Boba, I didn't realize this, although I kind of figured it out. Do you know you and I have been waiting tirelessly for when they were going to use the deep fake guy. They've already used them.
What?
On the young Boba. They've used that. So there's
it looks
yeah, so I'm gonna try to put this picture on.
I thought that was unused footage.
No, look, check it out. So it's
from Attack of the Clones.
here's a picture. I'll play it I'll show you guys. So this is the actor that they hired for young Boba Fett, and then I guess they put young Daniel Logan's face on him. Hold on, give me a second. I'll bring it up for the audio listeners. You just got to check it out later. Where the hell did they go?
Was sad to know, though. I'm sad and happy because obviously Boba had his last tank healing session. I was like, oh my god, this man. Oh my god.
Yeah, so that's the kid that they got.
Wow, he looks exactly like him.
Yeah, and then they put Daniel Logan's face on it in the window. So there you go.
Such good casting.
Yes, but you're right, Steph. So it was funny. I said it earlier this morning. The robot comes in, or the droid comes in after Boba wakes up from his splashback and says, "Hey, audience, just let everybody know Boba's healed, aka no more flashbacks."
I know. Yeah. There's gonna be no more flashbacks, but here you go. One last body shot of this amazingly ageless man.
Well, that whole thing in the way that played, right? So they get the Sarlacc pit. It brings back why he wants to do what he's going to do. Fennec's going to come with them, and then they make their move, and you hear obviously and you hear. Sorry, when he comes in, and then they go back to that scene when he takes out Bib Fortuna, and then we get back to reality once again. But I will say that I thought Snuffleupagus was great. The bantha, it was nice that you see this relationship that Boba has with animals, right? It's someone pointed out to Tony Soprano back there, like that. It's kind of Tony's thing with animals that he's got, and Boba's got this thing with animals, and obviously the questions that everybody had, it was there, and it continues on into the present. So he gets out, and then Fennec goes, "All right, listen, we gotta do some stuff. We gotta, you're out, you're completely healed. Congratulations, but we gotta start make some moves. So what's the play? What are we doing?" So he heads on over to the new cantina, and this is the difference from like what I mentioned earlier. When you go into, and I'm calling Jennifer Beals, who looks phenomenal,
so good.
But I've been calling it the flash dance. When you go to the flash dance, the thing is, when you go to this cantina that she's running, even though it's got like an uptick kind of feel to it, it's got a prequel feel. It feels Star Warsy, right? It's like there's costumes, there's aliens, but it feels like that's the difference of like the Fifth Element feel. And because people like, oh, things can look new. Everything in that cantina looks new. And Max Rebo's playing, and I feel like everything in there, I'm like, this is familiar. This is the type of stuff. I don't mind it looking a little clean because it looks
it looks like the same. Like it's an upgrade, but like as time would upgrade it. Yeah.
This to
not
me
just
is
like a different
movie, different like a different show. Like that's the difference. Everyone's like, oh, they when they were talking about those bikes, people were like, well, they're clean, they're new bikes. They stole the new bikes. But it's not a matter of them being clean and new. It's a matter of them looking like they're just not from the same thing. They're just not from the same thing. Like where
same world.
Yeah. When you walk into that cantina, the Jennifer Beals cantina, it's clean, it's nice, it's upscale, and like that's to me that's upscale Tatooine, right? It's not as grimy as Mos Espa, and it's not that the cantina that Luke walks into. It's a very, I mean, how many different bars have you been to in your life? You've gone to the little dive bars, and then you've gone to the upscale bars, and that's what it is. It's an upscale bar. And speaking of going to bars, how many times you've been at a bar and looked over at a dude who's sitting there that dude is just looking for trouble. And that's what the Wookiee was doing. The Wookiee was just sitting there pissed off.
Not nice.
He is just mad at his decisions in life. And he is just sitting there drinking, bummed, just watching people have a good time. And he just causes havoc. And the motivation for this, as writers and audience, what made a lot of sense to me was, okay, we just saw him run away for some reason in the last one. He got bested by Boba, and they didn't offer him a job there. So I actually, even though you and I talked about it last week, where we're like, oh, he should have offered him a job, I'm glad he didn't, because if he would have offered a job after he basically got thrown into a pit, got a dart stuck into his hand, and then was basically given to Boba, would have taken that power off of him. But offering him a job right after he ripped the arms of some dude in a cantina, I was like, all right, you got me.
That's true. And how long was it? I'm a little confused on the time jumping from when he let BK go to this.
Not too much.
Not too much.
No, why do you think there's been a lot of time?
I just don't know, like if Boba's playing like this mastermind game, like he knew all along he would let him go to show him that he's not, and then come back and offer him the job, like kind of like a Tony Soprano move.
I think he was walking into that place to do some business or whatever it was, and he sees him there. Maybe he was looking for him. Maybe he knew that he was there and he wanted to talk to him for sure. Because what I liked about it was I didn't know what the motivation was. When he goes back into that cantina, I was like, okay, he's gonna have a scene with Jennifer Beals, and then loved the whole scene when he's beating the piss out of all of them. This dummy hits him with water or whatever he hits him with, and then BK's got him, he's holding him up, and then Jennifer Beals gives him this whole speech about being a gladiator. Those times are past, let it go. I'm gonna wipe out your entire tab. And I was like, okay, so he's gonna put him down, and then Boba and him will talk, or Jennifer Beals and him will talk, and he'll walk off, and he rips the dude's arm off. And then when that happened, I said, okay, because he walks out the door and Boba sees him, and I was like, okay, well, what's the business with Jennifer Beals? It has nothing to do with Jennifer Beals. It's trying to do exactly what he does and what we wanted to do, and that's recruit the Wookiee. And he does. He goes, hey, you want a gig? And he gives him the gig. I thought it satisfied anybody who was pissed off that they just let him run away like an imbecile in the last one. I think it worked. It was, like I said, once we got past the mechanical doctor and all that stuff, I thought it started to really pick up.
Yeah, Jennifer Beals' character, she's my favorite, like, outsider who's come into Star Wars. I feel like actress that, like Bill Burr type, where you're like, you got brought in as this Amy Sedaris, like out of all of those people, she's the most like, I just love her character.
Great. Yeah, she's great. And I love the way that she carries things, and I love the moment between her and Boba, and Boba's like, hey, he gave it a shot. She's like, yeah, I didn't really think it was going to work, but I gave it a shot. Like, you could tell, even with that one gesture that she made, she had no idea, and she knew it wasn't going to work, but she gave it a shot.
I can't believe he did. I thought he was going to have like a character moment where he's like, okay, maybe I need to change, and he's like, nah, fam, I'm ripping this arm off.
No, he's like, that's who I am. And then now that he's working with Boba, it works. You're not like, I don't want to see him. I don't want to see them turn him into like, oh, he's got feelings now. No, this guy, he is a mercenary. He's there for the gig. He is there to, wreak havoc. And when he shows up, now they have that whole scene that we're looking for, that we've been waiting for, all the families. And by the way, also explaining when you go back into that flashback, and they're going through Jabba's palace, and you basically see all of these guards, and where are all of these people? And it's explained, like they've divided off, they've taken off, and they're all sitting at the family, and so there's nobody there. And Boba even says, I need to recruit more soldiers, I need to get more muscle, because he's like, I don't have any intention of splitting up your families and bringing you back into the fold. It's not what I'm here to do, but I want you to join me. And like, why don't we kill you right now? The Rancor is ready to eat them all, so they stop messing with them. And I wasn't sure how I felt about the deal at first, where he's just like, okay, I'm going to make you a deal. And I'm going to let you keep all your territories and everything. But when the Pike Syndicate comes to you, and they will, you got to not turn on me. And at first I'm like, I don't know. Is that the deal you want to make? But then I thought about it. That's consistent to the way they've been playing the character. He's basically going to tell you, look, I just need you to do this for me. I'll make this all work. You're right. They're coming after me. I'll fight my battle, but stay out of it. And then she says, can you trust them? I can trust them to look out for themselves.
Yeah, I think that was it was smart. He said to just remain neutral.
Yeah.
Which I think is a fair ask, because they're not going to be like buddies, but that makes sense because he doesn't even know who he's really going after. Like, he wants to go after the Pike Syndicate, but we don't even know if they're the ones really in charge. If it's just them, or if there's like Crimson Dawn. I know
Get
people have been
Crimson
talking
Dawn
about.
involved. You got to get Crimson Dawn involved, because imagine if Crimson Dawn is now being run by like kind of a weathered, like a weathered Kira, and because Maul's toast at this point, so she probably took over, and if she took over, like how kind of beaten down and by life is she at this point, so to see that would be great to how that plays in, because right now the Pikes aren't scary enough for me to say, why does Boba need all this muscle? He's got a Wookiee, he's got a Rancor, he's got like what do they have? I mean, numbers. I mean,
they're preparing for war. Yeah, because Pike Syndicate always, anytime we've even seen them in any Star Wars property, they're just about business.
Right.
They don't really have like some huge like criminal murderous scheme running. They just want money and to run their spice.
Well, that's the thing, is that but the question is, as you said earlier, who are they working for? You know what I mean? Like, who are they working for? Oh, that's not you. You're not Katie Sackhoff. So I can't find the actual graphic itself. We don't need it, Steph. We don't need it.
Yeah.
We don't need a graphic today. So either way, like, who are they working for, if anybody? Because you got to feel like there's a threat, because when the Tuskens and Boba fought a lot of them on the train, they whooped them for the most part. They whooped them. So why are they the threat? Like, the Hutts to me were more of a threat because they're the Hutts. But if they set up, they got to show something in the next episode. Like, Pikes have to be featured a little bit more. And I think that's the beauty now of not doing flashbacks anymore.
Past,
because now you have enough time. And majority of these episodes, I think I don't know if it's a theme or not, but the first episode was like 35 or 36 minutes. The second one was like 45 minutes. The third one was in the 30s. And then this one was in the 40s. So I wonder if they're going to jump back and forth inside of that time range, or there's no rhyme or reason to it whatsoever. But if they do like a 45-minute episode in like current, it gives you time to set up the Pikes. It gives you time to set up like why you should be scared. And it should also, Boba should suffer a loss. Like, he doesn't suffer a loss yet.
But Boba's whole life has been a loss, Kristian.
True. I mean, yeah, it's true. But I mean, this story, though, in every episode that we're watching and we're invested in, like, Din had losses, like when you're watching any show, whether it's WandaVision, Wanda had losses. Like, the characters always have a loss inside of it to make you go, oh man, like that was a tough one. Like, as I mentioned to you, Arcane, like there are I don't know if I mentioned it if we were on the air when I brought it up or not, but I was telling Steph she needs to watch Arcane. And the characters suffer a lot of loss inside of that show. And I think that needs to happen, especially for the final battle, because we're in episode 4 and now we only have 3 episodes left. So 5,
more
6,
than the Tuskens.
You mean the loss wise?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he suffered that loss, but that was again in the past, even though we saw it. And I think that will be that's a thing that for sure. I mean, I'm talking about since he took over, like it has, because the Tuskens fit into your point of in his life, that's all he suffers is losses, right? That's part of it. But from what we've seen inside of the present side of things, since he took over, it's been pretty easy for him. Yeah, great. He doesn't have a lot of people working for him and people kind of want to turn on him, but he needs to get some helpers. He hires the Power Rangers. He needs some people to work his muscle inside the castle. He gets the pigs, and now he needs some more muscle. He hires a Wookiee, and now they have some cash, and they're going to go get. It seems like the Mandalorian, right? Is that
Yeah.
what that's what they're teasing with by playing that music?
Yeah, that's what I think is gonna happen. Is that they'll show up because any new characters they introduce, they'll have to do it, I think, by next episode. But speaking of the Power Rangers, we didn't get any of them this episode, right?
No, I think that was a smart move, though.
Yeah.
I think that was a smart move. I don't know. It probably wasn't intentional, but it was probably a smart move not to put them in because they didn't play well to everybody. And as I mentioned to you last week, and the same with this episode, had no issues with any performances at all with or casting,
No.
mind you.
Yeah, everyone. Yeah.
But it's just it's look, feel, and tone that feels off, and that was the big. If you go to whether it was the episode of Sith Council last week or the solo review I did, every other comment was about the bikes and the Power Rangers, and that people were doing videos off of like it was pretty much like Biff from the Back to the Future gang kind of going through and all that. So I think it was a good move not putting them in because you focus. This is all about Fennec and Boba and their relationship and why she wants a part of it, because in her heart of hearts, she kind of wants out of the business too. And she had an opportunity, and she's an opportunist. She saw what was there and what was being offered that hadn't been offered from previous bosses, and she took it. And I think it was a smart deal.
Yeah, I think that's why we all like bounty hunters, because bounty hunters have like very specific and unique motivations, and it's like driven by a lot of survival. Like they just all want to survive at the end of the day. And I think that wasn't their first choice to be a bounty hunter, but now they don't have like relations with anyone. So it's like they can really make decisions that best benefits them or their pocket. So that's why Fennec really confuses me. But I don't know where she's going to end up, but it's just, I don't know. I hope that they keep going with the grittier side of Fennec and Boba, because I think that's when they're at their best. I think you can still tie in Boba's new lessons of community and like having a tribe but still being ruthless, or else you take away the bounty hunter side of Boba.
Well, Boba's trying to shed that anyway, right? And
yeah, that's true.
Boba's motivation for the Pikes is that he's had beef with the Pikes for a while. They've set that up through flashback and now they're targeting him and targeting his new stay on what he has on Tatooine. So I understand the battle with the Pikes. I get it. Like I said, I just think that the Pikes need to be a little bit more threatening, and they can get there. There's no doubt about that for sure. And especially the Wookiee. The Wookiee, though, the Wookiee's got issues, doesn't he?
Oh my gosh, the Wookiee needs
No, the Wookiee needs headspace.
Yeah.
That's what the Wookiee needs. The Wookiee needs headspace, Steph, and that's exactly why I'm going to tell both the Wookiee and I'm going to tell you all about headspace. How are you guys feeling today? Seriously, how are you feeling? Think about it. Take a minute if you have to. Whether you're feeling, are you hyper? Are you tired? Or you're annoyed? Or just, It's time to connect with your feelings. You got to start with your mental health journey, and you use headspace. A lot of times when people ask you how you are, what do you say? I'm fine. You don't mean that. Fine's not really an emotion, is it? You know what George Carlin always used to say? Hair is fine. But how many times have you told yourself you're fine when honestly you're just mad or you're sad or it's just nerves? Headspace is scientifically proven to help you manage your feelings and your mental health. In fact, a recent study proved in 2 weeks that Headspace can reduce your stress by 14%. Whether you want to relieve stress and anxiety, or sleep better, or improve your focus, Headspace, it's your everyday dose of mindfulness for real life. So, here's the thing. I've struggled with things in the past. I've talked about it openly on this show, and I carried around some anger for a while. Get rid of that. And it's helped. You can overcome it, and you can use Headspace and mindfulness and other things that you really can do. And I've struggled with it. I've been struggling with stress and calming anxiety, falling asleep, but finding Headspace. Very excited to continue to connect with my feelings, to improve my mental health. That's why I think I love this show as much as I do too. So give it a try. Go check one of the routines. Link is in the description. You're going to feel better. I want to know about you guys. However you're feeling, try Headspace at headspace.com/Sith and get 1 month free of their entire mindfulness library. This is the best Headspace offer available, You got to go to headspace.com/Sith today. One more time, headspace.com/Sith. Do it. All righty. Like these new glasses, Steph?
Yeah, I do.
All right. I had those clear ones that I had for a while, and then I don't know what I did with them. I like them a lot.
I need new glasses.
These are terrible.
Really...
These are terrible.
They're not terrible.
Yeah, they're not great. I like these though. I like these a lot. I like those. Look, you're hip, very hip.
Work at your local coffee shop.
Yeah, you do absolutely. 100%. It's so funny. I just did an interview with there's some people just can make anything look good, right? I just had Jessica Chobot on Big Thing. First of all, she looks exactly like Linda Carter. I mean, like identical. But then she had on these glasses, and I was like, oh my God, I felt like I was talking to Linda Carter. I didn't bring that up though. I was going to. But, so a lot of fascinating guests, a lot of things coming up on Big Thing. What was the other? So who talked about? Somebody wanted to come on this show. Really fun guest as far as Sith Council goes. I can't remember. Somebody wanted to talk about Star Wars. Anyway, okay, let's keep on going. So we think they said we want to hire muscle and we want to get people in to help. Now at that point, they played Din's music, so you would assume that's who they're talking about as far as bringing in the Mandalorian, helping them out. Now he's by himself at this point. You would assume by the time that this all takes place, this is after they've all helped out after Luke has taken Grogu. So, Din is around. But the question is, though, we assumed he was going to go to Mandalore. That's where we assumed he was going to go, because but the other side of it is he's running with a pack now. So the question is he going to be running with Bo-Katan and the rest of them, or does he just come in, do a little cameo, or do they not get him? And I also said we kept talking about Cad Bane. I think Cad Bane could work with Boba.
Yeah, I do think that there's definitely, and there always has been this tone, but for the first time, I feel like in this episode, they were kind of digging into the bounty hunter culture and how they've been taken advantage of, and how they want to take the power back. So if that's the case, then I definitely think that there could be a new plot created where they're just like speaking to the appeal of these bounty hunters, including Cad Bane, and being like, look, they've been running the show. Why don't we do it?
Yeah.
Let's join forces or kill each other.
Well, that's because Fennec well, so you know what someone brought up, which I know you're going to be all on board with, is someone said that she would know where to find Omega and bring Omega in.
Oh yeah.
But because it's Boba's sister. So
yes.
I just don't think it happens because season 2 is coming out and it just reveals too much if you have it, because it's the same thing. Another reason why I didn't love the Fennec scene when they were fixing her up is because it's too long, that scene. And that's like, because the thing is, if we didn't know if she was going to make it or not, or if we didn't know if she was in peril, if we thought she was in peril, if we thought all this stuff, but we know she makes it. We know she's fine. And why are we spending, we know what happens to her. We've seen it before. Why are we spending like 3 or 4 minutes eating up time of the guy with the thing and showing the whole, the one shot I really enjoyed was when you saw the blood kind of going in and it starts to rework. I just thought that could have been cut down a little bit, but it just goes back to that point. When you know certain things, you know the fate of characters anyway, that it's less, there's less stakes. So the same thing with Omega. If you know she's coming back for season 2, if she's back on season 2 and you're watching it, and you know, and she shows up in Boba Fett, you're like, well, we know she survives and everything's fine because she winds up showing up in Boba.
Yeah, I think that I hate that you just told me that, because I don't think that they have enough time for that, or I think they have enough time for a few more characters. I think Cad Bane could be introduced. I think Din Djarin can be introduced.
Yeah.
I think an entire Omega storyline can't, because they would have to go get her somewhere, which would take a long time. And that seems like it could be cool if they do Book of Boba part 2 or season 2, and then they do a connection between like they finish Bad Batch season 2 and start Boba season 2 with the introduction.
So Bad Batch season 2 I'm looking at Star Wars News
Uh-huh.
Net, and there's a report that Star Wars Insider has revealed that the next season of The Bad Batch will arrive earlier than some people have thought. Though no set month has been given for the second season, it's going to arrive at some point this spring. So spring is anywhere between March and May. That makes me nervous. And I'll tell you why in a second. Why in a second. In terms of general release calendar, so that could either line up with the first anniversary of the show's premiere, which is May 4th, or it could even arrive even earlier. Check out the screen cap. It doesn't really say. We heard a rumor a while ago that there's a chance that Lucasfilm might split the sophomore outing of the Bad Batch into 2 parts for the sake of the release schedule, given that many assume, and this is what I was concerned about, Steph, given that many assume that Obi-Wan Kenobi, which also does not have a public release date, will arrive in some time for Disney Day on May 4th. It may be fair to speculate that the Lucasfilm animation will release an initial set of episodes in the weeks before the highly anticipated live-action series. Okay, I feel a little better. Before resuming with the adventures of Clone Force 99 after that series is finished. But unlike the concrete release window for that series, there's nothing more than a rumor, so we'll have to wait and see. What I was worried about is we've talked about it on the show. Bad Batch, it's one of those shows. It's like, okay, there's a Star Wars thing to watch while we're waiting for the other stuff. Of course, I'm going to watch it. I'm not a diehard Bad Batch fan like a lot of people are, right? There are some people who just swear by it, love it, can't wait to watch the next episode. To me, it was like, that's okay, it's fine. If we're sacrificing, well, they're going to put Bad Batch on first, and then we're going to have to get Obi-Wan down the line. That's what I go, oh man, just put Bad Batch down the line and put Obi-Wan out first. But if they do it this way and they put Bad Batch out a little, because I can't remember who I was talking. I was talking to Justin Kroll over at Deadline, who's going to be on the show on Big Thing, and what he had said, you can run there's certain shows that what Disney won't do is you're never going to see like a Marvel show and a Disney show. And a Star Wars show running at the same time. Like Moon Knight is going to wait for Boba to finish before it starts airing, and then Obi-Wan will obviously wait for Moon Knight before it starts airing. But there are certain shows, whether it's Mighty Ducks or whatever it might be, that could still that are brand new shows that can air at the same time. I think Bad Batch is one of those shows that could air. Like you could put Bad Batch on while Moon Knight's still on. You could like it's not the same thing. Yeah, go ahead, Seth.
It's just the animated is cheaper to produce and make anyway, so they wouldn't be making a huge business decision if they wanted to run it at the same time as a live action, especially in a separate property.
Yeah, and it's also to appease, Filoni and the crew, and they're telling the story. Maybe it does lead up to certain things of how all this stuff is Clone Wars, Rebels, Bad Batch, Mandalorian, Boba Fett, Ahsoka. They're all part of this new shared universe and it's even clear, like when we have a scene like we do at the end of this episode where you're clearly playing the music and you're teasing it. It is an interesting choice, though, if it's not Din that they hire, at least one of the people they hire, or ask him to come in. Why'd they play his music?
Yeah, that wouldn't make any sense.
Right. Like, why would you play the music? Like, what's the point of that tease?
Yeah, I think they have to be connected, or it's like some sort of fake out to some like a character that we've seen in The Mandalorian at least.
Could be, but I mean that's so recognizable with him now. That it's like why? I don't know. Like, but I just checked. Someone wrote on the thing I did this morning. Episode 5 is going to be wild. It does seem like they're gearing up towards that. It does.
Yeah.
Now, who directed this one, Steph?
Michael, I think
it's the Mortal Kombat guy, right?
Yes. I was looking for his name. I can't find it.
Did a great job. I
agree. Some of the shots were so sick because you could, I mean, like I always, when I'm watching these, I'm like, which one was shot on the real 4D or the real screen? And then which one was real? And like, it's so hard to know with these. It's so well done. Like some of my favorite shots, I think like, this is a cooler look to me than a lot of what we saw in The Mandalorian, even though I prefer The Mandalorian as a show so far more.
Same. But I thought that this was definitely you got the most goodies in this one. And as I was talking it out, I said, I think this is probably the best episode so far.
Yeah.
And there's nothing against the other episodes as far as the direction of both of all. I can't remember the woman's name who directed episode 2, but Robert Rodriguez, her was it Stephanie? I can't remember.
Oh yeah, Steph
Green.
Yes.
So I thought did a great job, and before this one, it was the best episode. I just think that what he was able to do, and even the stuff that I didn't like about this episode, was kind of stuff that he was given, right? He was given the look of these of the way that the additioned, because someone made some point recently on one of the videos of like additions to the humans and the cyborgs thing has always been part of Star Wars. I agree. I mean, whether it's Bespin or of course, it's just a matter of how jarring does it look. Like, and I always said, even with Last Jedi, when you walk into Canto Bight, like none of that stuff seems like anything consistent. And J.J. Abrams did the same thing. Like some of the aliens and stuff that he brought in, it didn't look consistent. Everything Mandalorian, to me, Mandalorian didn't really do that. And some people will argue, like, well, Bill Burr and the way that he talked in the kind of a Boston accent, that was a little too modern. I don't know.
That's still like a
bothered me.
Yeah, like a human, which we've seen in the universe many times before, and also we've heard so many different types of accents.
Yeah,
that doesn't make sense. It's Kevin Tancharoen. Is the director. Yeah,
he was great. He did a great job. I thought it was a really good. And now we get, I think, Bryce Dallas Howard. No. Filoni's for the next one. Filoni's the next one.
Oh, and then Bryce.
I think Bryce is 7. I think what they said is Filoni's supposed to do 6. Bryce is doing 7, and then Rodriguez. I'm hoping Robert Rodriguez. People, I'm not going to get on the train of Robert Rodriguez isn't right for Star Wars. I don't think that's accurate. I saw a lot of people saying that, because I think his episode of Mandalorian was one of the best episodes of Mandalorian season 2.
One of my favorite.
Yeah, I think it was great. So
all the seasons.
I just hope we get away from that kind of modern Spy Kids Power Rangers crap that he did for the finale, because that's gonna be a bummer if we're able to set up and again, hammering down my point of why television is so much better for Star Wars than film. Because look at the people, like last week, if you go through the comments on this channel, on this video, the video that I did, there's so much discourse. There's so much people that are saying, oh man, this show's better. It's got to go somewhere. What's going on with this thing? What'd they do to Boba? Blah, blah, blah. And there's some people that are still on that page. But I saw a lot of people turn around from one week and say, myself included, saying inside of the conversation, all right, there you go. Those are answering the questions, but they're not stewing in their thoughts for 2 or 3 years waiting for another one. And like they did from one movie to the next movie. You're like, okay, I didn't like that movie. Now I got I don't know if I'm done with Star Wars, but 2-3 years. I hated the last one, blah, blah. As opposed to, all right, it was 1 week ago. Let's see if they got better. Because had this episode not delivered, though, 2 weeks in a row, they would have lost some more people, I think.
Definitely, because I have a lot of people I know who were watching at 12 a.m. if they're West Coast when it premiered, or early in the morning, who are now waiting like a day, like they haven't seen it yet. They're gonna watch it tonight or whenever it feels right, because it's not like they're not so excited to see what happens next.
Right. Do you know what I did last night? I finished Arcane last night. I finished
I can't wait.
I finished I blew through it. Finished the final episode last night, and was sitting on my couch just like, wow, what did I just I'm trying to it affects you. Like it's one of those shows that just affects you. And so I'm taking it all in, and then I was like, okay, I got 15 minutes before Mandalorian, before Boba Fett debuts. And then I woke up, I fell asleep. I fell asleep on the couch, and I woke up, and I'm like, all right. And I turned it on, and I got to the back to tank, and I went, I'm going back to sleep. I'll watch it. And I watched it in the morning. And it's nothing to do with Boba Fett. Is that nothing to do? I was just too tired. It could have been anything.
Kristian, sometimes you and I do the most similar things. I was on my couch watching something. I forget what I was watching. And then I fell asleep. I fell asleep at 11:15, woke up at 12:15, but then I finished the episode.
Yeah. Okay. See, I didn't, I couldn't finish it. I was like, and it had nothing to do with the show itself. It's like, it was just a matter of
sometimes when you're
I was too tired. I was too tired. And I was like, you know what? I'm not going to give this thing the attention I need to. So this morning, after 2 cups of coffee, watching it, I was like, all right, Now I'm ready to rock. And I did. And I made myself an egg sandwich.
Ooh.
Yeah. I can cook some eggs. I'm pretty good at that.
What was in it? Some
Well, it's egg
avo?
whites, and
Nice.
what I do is I do like I do three eggs. Do
Okay.
one egg yolk, rest of it, in egg whites, and then I put it in the toast. Put a little parsley in it, a little bit of pepper, and you're good to go. Good to go.
Sounds fire.
Yeah. What else we got to talk about as far as this show goes? Did we miss anything? Not really, right?
No, I think we covered
I
everything.
think so too. I want to see if there's anything else if there's anything in the news.
Yeah, I think that I trust Robert Rodriguez. I loved the penultimate episode he did in Mandalorian. I think that he's a great director. I think that it's every great director wants to have a certain vibe that's attached to a lot of them want to have a certain look or vibe. And I think that unfortunately, even though Spy Kids was like a massive success and like a lot of people liked Alita, that's a very specific cyberpunk brand. And it's like, that's dope that's what Robert Rodriguez does. Unfortunately, it's not really meshing. So I hope that it's kind of veers away from that in the final episodes.
Yeah, well, speaking of the final episode, I want to read before we go. There's a quote by Ming-Na that was really good here, and I don't know if you've seen this yet, Steph, but it's talking about the finale itself. And I'm going to bring this quote up so everybody can see it. Okay, before I do that, let's make sure. Where is this stupid thing? There it is. All right, this is again a report from Star Wars Newsnet, where if you don't get your news from Star Wars Newsnet, you really should. Everything that they have going on, it's just an amazing site. Our buddy Miguel Fernandez is over there. This is Grant Davis. The Book of Boba Fett co-star Ming-Na Wen has suggested that by the end of the 7th episode, fans will be looking at the series in a different light. Talking to Radio Times, Wen explained the story for the Book of Boba Fett that it has an abundance of unexpected elements to its main story that won't become fully apparent until the last episode, with each entry inducing new elements to the story. Here is what she said. I really hope they want to go back and see the whole thing over again in a different light after, knowing how these things have. I'm so careful with my words here, how things have evolved and all these other elements that have come into play. Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau, they know how to set up the pieces and make moves that you won't even know are coming. And then suddenly it's like, claps her hands together, checkmate. We're waiting for that hit, and not just until the very last episode. Like each and every episode, there's new moves and new elements that come into play that hopefully will surprise the fans. I know that it surprised me.
Oh, that's cool.
There is. And sometimes, but this is what they have to be careful of doing. A lot of times the actors, whether it's on this show or any other show, whether it's WandaVision, the actors have to be careful with trying to hype the fans up too much.
Yeah.
Right? Because I think in WandaVision, they were teasing a big cameo, and it was Paul Bettany being cute, saying there's a massive cameo at the end, and it was him, as Vision or somebody else, the other Vision. And the same thing where Robert Rodriguez is like, every episode is like that big uber reveal. None of the episodes Robert Rodriguez did so far were like, holy crap. Like this episode had a few kind of fun moments like that. But Tamora Morrison said, see, this is what this is why maybe I get hopeful that my prediction is going to happen, because Tamora Morrison told fans that they should prepare to cry as the story plans out. So it's possible that the series has gone into such depths to humanize a quiet character best known for his brutality to a level that we really feel for him by the time the story is over. Like she says, we'll have to watch the show and watch where our anti-hero's journey takes him and his allies. I don't know if you can call him an anti-hero anymore. I think he's pretty much a hero. The first 3 episodes of Book of Boba Fett is now streaming. This is before the 4th one, with the remaining 4 debuting on Wednesdays. Blah, 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 blah. Okay. So if unlikely scenario is that Fennec turns on him, kills him, takes over, it would be, that's the water cooler moment. If they do it at the end and they're like, and you're like, wow, they actually did it. She turned on him. And because after setting, it was nobody, a lot of the fans writing the comments in this are saying, no, she can't turn on him, too loyal. That's kind of that's the whole point, is that they want you to get so invested in the fact that she's not going to do it, that when she finally does it. And I'm leaning 70% that she doesn't to the 30 that she does. But man, would it be great if they did that 30.
Yeah. Oh my god, it would kill me, but it would
Yeah.
be a really spicy finale. Yeah, I think that I agree. They have to be careful of not making people too excited. And on the flip side of that, if what they're saying is true, creators have to be careful that you just can't just because you're Star Wars, you are going to get the viewership, but it's kind of stupid to just trust that, oh, the finale will make everything worth it.
Right.
And if you do have to rewatch it through that light, that's fun, but it's also like, I wish it hit hard consistently then, and then you found a way to vote. But who knows if the next 2 episodes are like this one,
Right.
then they're fine. Then it could be
I
a
agree.
great show.
Yeah, I agree. I think you got to. I'm just hoping that what they do is, it just seemed like in that first episode, couple of modern things that didn't fit. Nothing really you can change. You gave the mayor's guy no accent or no subtitles, and it just whatever. What are you going to do? And the second episode, you just had the baseball cap guy. Small moment. What are you going to do? Third one, the problem was there's so much inconsistency with tone and all that. And briefly in this one, I'm expecting it in 5. I just hope more so that it's like 85% that I like with a 15%, or maybe next week 10% that I don't. But like stepping it up, you got to set this war up though. That's got to be set up next. The war's got to be set up.
100%. And I think more deaths.
Yeah, eventually, yeah. And the idea that now that the Wookiee's involved, he's got the Wookiee, he's got the pigs, he's got Fennec, he's got the Power Rangers. So, and now if you get whether it's Din or whoever else, and bring in some more people in. I think not just him though. I think bring in some more people. I'd love to see some of the Bosk come in. You get some people, hire some bounty hunters. Like they'll do the job for you. Hire some bounty hunters. You want to hire some mercs to fight your war with you. Why not? It's the Pikes. The Pikes are pricks.
Yeah, I want him to get all the I want there to be a bounty hunter gang that just makes their own rules.
That's right. All right, listen. That's the episode. It's myself and Steph. Mike didn't make it, but that's on me today because I had scheduled it early, and the Mike had to do something, so it was definitely my fault that we didn't have Mike on today. He'll be back next week for sure. But that's it, man. Make sure you comment. If you didn't already do this, please subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to the channel, and I'll even show you what it looks like. There you go. Show a little class. I show just a little class, and subscribe. Show a lot of class, and hit that notification button. That's what we need you to do. And as I mentioned, this has nothing to do with you, but go ahead and subscribe to the podcast on Big Thing if you haven't done that already. But Sith is available on podcast form as well. All right, Steph, we did it. We made it happen. We'll be back next week, and comment. We answer comments back. Well, I answer comments back, and then we'll talk to you next week. All right, everybody. Peace out.
I can